For years, I was obsessed with finding my one true purpose. I read all the books, took loads of personality tests, and built several businesses, hoping that I'd finally land on the one thing I was meant to do. But every time I thought I had it, the excitement faded, and then I was back to square one. In this video, I'll share what I've learned so that you can find a sense of purpose much faster than I did. From when we're kids, we're expected to answer that one question: what do you want to be when you grow up? Imagine a 10-year-old who says, I want to be a kind person who helps my community. People would look at it and be like, no, but what do you want to do for a living? In capitalist societies, our worth is tied to our job. We think if we find the perfect job, it will give us our purpose, but that's a trap. You can have a filling career and be passionate about music and love spending time with your family and be into something totally random like competitive pumpkin carving. Every job forces you into a box, but you're more than your day job. So instead of asking what job will give me purpose, ask, how can I create a life that feels meaningful? To help you explore areas other than work to find your purpose, you can use something like the Wheel of Life activity. It divides your life into different categories, like career, money, and personal growth. Take a few minutes to think about how you could find a sense of purpose in each area. I refined my version of the Wheel of Life over the past 15 years. I'll put a link in the description if you want to get a copy. The Wheel of Life can be brilliant if you're looking for inspiration beyond work to find your purpose, but it can lead to a different problem. In a famous study by Columbia and Stanford universities, psychologists set up a jam tasting station in a grocery store. People were offered free samples. One day they offered 24 flavours, and another day they offered 6. More people stopped when there were more choices, but when it came to actually buying a jar, the smaller selection won by a landslide. This is called choice paralysis. And if we can't even choose a jam, how do we expect to choose a life path? A lot of people think they're keeping their options open by not making a choice. But in reality, doing nothing is still a choice. And that choice has consequences. Every year you wait to figure things out is a year you could have spent trying something. Don't try to find the perfect path before you start, because it doesn't exist. Just try to pick something, anything, and move forward. We're taught to believe that we have one true purpose, and if we just find it, everything will fall into place. And if we don't find it, then we're failing. But let's say you do find something that feels like your purpose. What happens if you get exactly what you always wanted, only to realise that you need a new challenge? Then you start searching for your purpose all over again. Psychologists have found that people who see purpose as something they shape, rather than something they find, are actually happier. And for those who think purpose is a destination, are often hit with what psychologists call the arrival fallacy. It's where you get what you want and then you're like, now what? So instead of waiting for some grand life-defining purpose to reveal itself, just start where you are. What are you naturally curious about? If you feel like you have no interests, go take a look at your bookshelf, or look at your search history, your previously watched stuff on YouTube, or the email newsletters you sign up to, and then start exploring these topics more. Don't think of these things through the lens of how can I turn this into a job or make money from it. Just follow your curiosity. Do you ever stare at a menu for way too long because you're worried about ordering the wrong thing? What if I commit to this burger and the tacos were actually better? Choosing a career, starting a business, and picking a life path feels really permanent. If you get it wrong, you've wasted years and there's no going back. But this fear of making the wrong choice just keeps us stuck. We stay in our current situation because it's not that bad, even if it doesn't benefit us anymore. This is what happened with my tabletop gaming website. I built it from scratch over 4 years, and I made a good living as a full-time content creator. So when I started feeling unfulfilled and restless, I just kept going with it, even though I knew I wanted to do something else. Little did I know I was succumbing to the sunk cost fallacy, which is where we stick with things, not because they're right for us, but because we've already put time, money, or effort into them. If you've ever forced yourself to finish reading a book that you're not enjoying, or maybe you finish a movie because you paid for it, then you know what I mean. But here's the thing. The time you've spent in a job or a business isn't wasted because you move on. All the experience you have teaches you something, and staying in something just because you already started, that's a real waste. There's a quick way you can tap into the areas of your life which you might have stayed in too long. Ask yourself this question: what are you sticking with right now that you know isn't right for you? Steve Jobs famously said, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backward. The moments in your life, the weird jobs, the random hobbies, or your failed attempts at something, they don't really make sense at the time. But when you look back, they're all connected. Steve Jobs took a random calligraphy class in college just because he was curious. And at the time it seemed useless, but years later it influenced the way he designed the fonts for the Mac. You've probably had this happen too. Something you tried just for fun ended up shaping who you are, but in the moment you had no idea that it would. This comes from narrative bias, where we naturally try to find patterns and meaning in hindsight, and these patterns are clues to what can give you a sense of purpose. So give this a try. Plot out a timeline of your life up to this point. What have you done at work and in your personal life? This might be renovating houses, training puppies, or playing music. See if you can spot patterns. Most of the things we've looked at in this video focus on logical activities because they're helpful for structuring our thoughts. But what if rational thinking could actually be what's getting in the way of you finding purpose? In Daniel Kahneman's book, Thinking Fast and Slow, he describes two types of thinking. The first system is fast and intuitive, and the second system is slow and deliberate. Most of us rely on system 2, which is logical and thoughtful, but this can often lead us to overthink and overanalyze decisions. When we focus too much on rational thought, we miss out on all the important emotional and experiential cues that can point us towards our purpose. I actually started a personal development blog 17 years ago, but I stopped after 3 blog posts. And every few years I'd want to start a personal development business that helps other people, but I never started one. But if I'd started 17 years ago, imagine where I'd be now. I bet you have something similar. What is that project that you keep wanting to start, but you just haven't started it yet? Follow your intuition and start it. Even if you just do one small thing a day to start exploring it. Otherwise, you'll live the rest of your life wondering, what if I tried it? You might feel like you need to have everything figured out before you do anything, but in reality, not knowing is actually a better place to start. Research by Reed Montague shows that your brain learns more from failure than from success, especially when we're trying new things. When you make a mistake or you try something that doesn't work, you don't just learn what not to do. You also discover what truly matters to you, what feels right and what makes you excited. I've always wanted to explore making music, so I started a music YouTube channel. But after 5 months, I learned that I enjoyed making videos, but I wanted to have a bigger impact on helping people. So I started this channel. But I'd never have known that I liked making videos and that that wasn't the right path for me had I not tried it in the first place. So instead of obsessing over the right decision, focus on the action. Go out and try things and learn from doing. What could you try doing today to see if you like it? Finding something you enjoy is only the beginning. You can be passionate about painting or writing or coding, but when does it start to feel meaningful? Research by Baumeister and his team found that there are 2 key things needed for a fulfilling life. Eudaimonic well-being, which is pursuing meaning, and hedonic well-being, which is pursuing pleasure. And while both are important, eudaimonic well-being is more strongly associated with long-term life satisfaction, purpose, and a sense of fulfillment. If you focus on activities or goals that align with your values or that contribute to something greater than yourself, you're more likely to find greater fulfillment and overall life satisfaction than if you always prioritize instant gratification or pleasure seeking. Passion is about you, what excites you and what lights you up, but purpose is about how you connect with something bigger than yourself. So try asking yourself this: what impact do you want to have on the world and others, and how can you work towards it? For a full guide on how to find fulfillment in life, watch this video next, and to fix your analysis paralysis on what to do next, watch this one. Like if you found this video helpful, and thank you for watching.